Good morning. I'd like to, you all can have a seat. I'd like to welcome all of those of you that are here with us live, but also the many, many others that are watching us on Facebook Live. You're here at the groundbreaking of the Michigan Advanced Construction Project. This is an amazing day. There's a number of dignitaries that are with us today to help celebrate us. Before I introduce them, I'd like to say a couple of personal words. First of all, I'm Kirk Steudle. I'm the director of the Michigan Department of Transportation, and I've been involved in this project since 2003. And as we've had some other conversations outside, some predate that, some go back to the mid-90s. It is a tremendous, tremendous day to be here. I cannot overstate what this day means to me personally. Building and maintaining infrastructure to sustain the economy is what we at MDOT do. It's our core mission. Transportation infrastructure is the backbone of a solid economy. Today's a great day to reinforce that backbone. More than 2 decades ago, we recognized the need for an additional crossing to sustain our economic ties to Canada, our most vital trading partner. Today, we celebrate that culmination of that arduous but necessary planning process and begin advanced construction here in Michigan. Mostly, we celebrate partnerships, not only the unprecedented collaboration between the state of Michigan and our great neighbors to the south, Canada, but also our great partnerships with the city of Detroit, the neighbors in Delray, the business leaders in both countries, contractors and labor leaders. Before I move to our first speaker, I do want to give 2 shout-outs. One to former U.S. DOT Secretaries Mary Peters and Secretary Ray LaHood, who are not with us today, but who, without them, we would not be standing here. Also one other, a Deputy Secretary, John Procari, who enabled this package to come together, negotiated with Governor Snyder to enable the investments here to be used towards the federal match across the state of Michigan. That was tremendous as well. And one last one, I'd like to note somebody that has been engaged in this project as long or longer than I have, that has lived and breathed in your neighborhood, became a trusted member of this community, and it's Mohammed Al-Gharabi. Mohammed. Is there anybody in the tent that doesn't know Mohammed? If you are, you're missing a truly, truly great servant of the people of the state of Michigan. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, representing the city of Detroit, James Craig, the chief of the Detroit Police Department.
Good morning, good morning. I guess they have notes prepared, and I typically just kind of like to go off the top, but I'll see how good I can do. But what a great day. You know, when I think about 5 years, I've now been in Detroit, just turned my 5th anniversary, and I remember a city facing bankruptcy, street lights not on, response time to calls for service well over an hour, clearance rate to homicides below 40%, and so on and so on. Police officer morale at the bottom, and certainly the morale of the community, both our neighbors across the water and the region, morale was at the very bottom. But what a great day. So yesterday I had the great opportunity to talk to 7,000 U.S. postal employees who are all delegates here in Detroit for a convention. Just 2 years ago, they could not and did not have enough hotels to accommodate a convention of that size. And here we are today, and they've been here going to be here for 2 weeks, celebrating the city, in the city, and it was nice being able to talk to people I had a chance to worked with in California, Maine, Cincinnati, Ohio, and certainly the great city of Detroit. So again, this also represents a pivotal part of our turnaround, the jobs that we'll create. I want to also thank the governor for his leadership, certainly on behalf of the Honorable Mike Mayor Duggan, certainly for his leadership. We have been a great team. You know, I stay focused on the crime fighting, and he's innovative, and just some wonderful things have happened in Detroit. So I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about this effort. And the last thing I'll say, I had a friend who grew up in Detroit who rose through the LAPD with me while I was there in Los Angeles. And he visited on last week. He hadn't been back to Detroit in about 20 years. He was totally amazed. And his son, who had never been to Detroit, who heard about the national media stories, 14-year-old said, I want to live in Detroit. I said, well, we have snow here in Detroit, so you may not want to give up that Southern California sun. So with that, I thank you again. Thanks everybody for being in attendance. We look forward to this next evolution of the great region, the great city of Detroit, the state of Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Craig. Now I'd like to introduce Dwight Duncan, the chair of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, a Canadian Crown corporation responsible for this amazing project, to say a few words. Dwight?
Thank you, Kirk, and good morning, everyone. Ambassador Kraft, Governor, Minister. I'd also like to introduce the Member of Parliament for Windsor West, Brian Massey, who's with us today, Member of Parliament for Windsor-Tecumseh, Cheryl Hardcastle, who's here with us today. Thank them for joining us today as well. It is a distinct honor to be here to represent the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, that Crown corporation responsible for the delivery of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. I join the others on this stage who have been incredibly instrumental in moving our project to where it is today. Governor Snyder, you have referred to yourself as one tough nerd, but I suggest that a better moniker would be one tough leader. Thank you for making today possible. Thank you very much. And there are so many friends in this room today. I've been occupied in one way or another with transportation infrastructure projects for many years. Jim Blanchard was still in university when I first got involved in this project. Believe it or not, in 1985. At that time, the road leading away from the existing bridge was a one lane in each direction with no turn lanes on it. And that got fixed then. So it's with great personal pleasure that I'm here today at the groundbreaking of advanced construction here in Michigan. Less than 2 weeks ago, we had the pleasure of announcing the selection of Bridging North America as the preferred proponent to design, build, finance, operate, and maintain our new bridge. Today, we are poised to start critical advance works, including geotechnical exploration and construction of test piles for the main bridge here in Detroit. Starting this work now is vitally important. It helps reduce risk and will contribute to the project schedule. In parallel to this work, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority will continue to work toward finalizing the public-private partnership procurement process and reach financial close by the end of September. I'd also like to thank our municipal partners represented today. Mayor Duggan's represented here today. And I'd also like to introduce the Mayor of Windsor, who's been a terrific proponent of this project, Drew Dilkins. Drew, thank you so much. And make no mistake, we are starting to build this bridge, and it is going to be built, and the people of Michigan and Canada and the United States will be using it very, very soon. This is a great day, a great beginning. Thank you all for your tremendous support. It is an honor, by the way, Deputy Mayor, as someone who grew up across the river, who had his first job delivering the Detroit Free Press, believe it or not, to see this remarkable city coming back. It is an honor to be part of that, an honor to have all of you today. Enjoy it. There are a few fights ahead. We're going to win them all, just like we've won every other one. Thank you all so much for coming today.
Thank you, Dwight. Our next speaker represents Bridging North America, the preferred proponent team recently selected to design, build, finance, operate, and maintain the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Please welcome Nuria Haltiwanger, the chairwoman and CEO of ACS Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor, Minister, Ambassador, all of the dignitaries. On behalf of Bridging North America, and particularly ACS, Dragados, and Floor, I'm honored to be here celebrating this groundbreaking of the Michigan Advanced Works. Only a few weeks after having been selected as preferred proponent to build and maintain the Gordie Howe Bridge. Bridging North America is a consortium made up of infrastructure developers and contractors led by ACS, Dragados, and Floor, and it blends world-class international and local expertise. It's a privilege for me to be addressing you here today on behalf of them and to reaffirm our long-term commitment to continue to making the successful completion of this project a priority for all of our organizations. Our prompt mobilization, as you can see, to ensure the advanced construction can commence today here in Michigan is a testament to that commitment. Some of the key members of our consortium were also involved in the construction and continue to be involved on the ongoing operation and maintenance of the Right Honorable Herb Gray Parkway in Windsor. And ever since we were selected to participate in that project, we've been looking over the horizon at the site here today, and that's been an inspiration for us. It's encouraged us to put forward the best team for the proposal and the best resources and talents we could to come up with an innovative solution for the Gordie Howe International Bridge project. Many of the project executives and project leaders and advisors are here today, so I would like to commend them for all of their excellent work in developing the proposal and mobilizing here, as well as for their continued commitment to excellence, quality, and most importantly, safety at the project site going forward. This procurement was a remarkable public-private partnership procurement, and that is challenging, and it's a very challenging endeavor all around. So I would like to take this opportunity really to congratulate WDBA and their advisors for successfully running probably one of the most complex procurement processes we've seen in North America. They did so in a rigorous, transparent, and fair process, and they should really be commended for that effort. So today's groundbreaking for us is a visible beginning of what we consider a long-term partnership with WDBA, and it reinforces our commitment to collaborate with the governments of both Canada, the United States, and the state of Michigan. And we look forward to continuing building upon this partnership that we begin with the construction phase of this landmark project, as well as engaging the local communities, which will be so important through our community benefits program that forms part of our proposal. And we'll be engaging with the local workforce here to bring about thousands of workers for this project site. So we're excited about that. As you all know, the Gordie Howe International Bridge project serves not only to connect the two countries, but it's going to provide long-term benefits to the local communities of the Detroit and Windsor areas. And we are thrilled beyond measure for the opportunity to participate in that endeavor. So we look forward to future milestones, which will include financial close, the full construction, and ultimately standing here again for the ribbon cutting of a successful project. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Nuria. Building the Gordie Howe International Bridge will require workers on both sides of the border. Our next speaker represents many of those workers here in Michigan. Please welcome Toney Stewart, Executive Director of the Michigan Regional Council of Carpenters and Millwrights. Toney?
Good afternoon. How is everyone doing? This is a great day. I mean, we needed the jobs. The jobs are here. I remember fighting for this bridge for many years because we needed jobs here. This bridge will create thousands of jobs for both sides, for the American and the Canadian alike. With thoughts and consideration and financing, money will put aside to help train quality workers to work on this job. This includes funds that were put aside for training for Detroiters to go to work on these projects as well. So with everyone here and stuff in the trades ourselves and the opportunity for workers to be trained and get into a good, decent paying job, this is what we needed. We needed something like this, period. This is going to help us grow, train, bring in more people, and this is long-term and short-term, the maintenance and operation of this bridge. So we want to thank, period, the Governor Snyder and the Canadian side for finally coming to this agreement that was a long time coming to help with these jobs. We appreciate it, and I speak for all on both sides.
Thank you, Toney. We are honored today to have with us, representing the federal government of the United States, the Ambassador to Canada, Kelly Craft. Ambassador?
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Michigan, and thank you, Canada. You know, Gordie Howe, in his day, could have literally helped build this bridge. As a youth, he worked with his father at construction sites doing what they call throwing concrete. This built him into a very strong teenager, standing a strapping 6 feet, 200 pounds at only the age of 15. This experience in construction must have had something to do with the power at which he delivered his legendary slap shot. And as a girl who grew up on a farm in Glasgow, Kentucky, whose friends are still having a hard time getting their heads around my current position, which I hold, I can relate to Gordie in so many ways. I just love it when he said, "I'm really just a lucky old farm boy. I remember when I came up, cut out all the newspapers showing me in a Red Wings uniform just to prove to everyone that I played in the NHL. Some days I'm tempted to cut out the clips and send them back home too. Then again, some days, not so much." But today isn't just about an iconic Canadian hockey player. It's about a momentous Canada-U.S. border crossing. Some may find it paradoxical that a Trump ambassador is here to break ground for a bridge, rather than, say, maybe a wall. But the world is full of contradictions. Here's what the former Hartford Whalers owner, Howard Baldwin, said about Gordie. "To me, Gordie is a contradiction. I think anybody that followed his career knew that he was a fierce competitor and he was a tough hockey player. And yet he was a gentle spirit, very kind soul off the ice. You just loved to be around him. He always had a twinkle in his eye, loved to chat and catch up. He was a pleasure to be around, just as a friend." I want to pay tribute to all of the hard work and dedication for generations that have made today possible. In particular, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge one of my predecessors, Ambassador Jim Blanchard. Jim, we are all here because of your vision. And Jim's stubbornness. Thank you so much for that. Like the U.S.-Canada relationship, which has its ups and downs, I have personally adopted the Gordie Howe philosophy of life. He famously said, "You have peace of mind and can enjoy yourself, get more sleep and rest when you know it was 100% effort that you gave, win or lose. And you've got to love what you're doing. If you love it, you can overcome any handicap or the soreness or all the aches and pains, and continue to play for a long, long time. We ambassadors, past and present, love what we do, not because it's easy, but because it matters. Just as Gordie holds the record for the most games and the most seasons played, I know this bridge will break all kinds of records for the most commerce and prosperity of any border crossing in the world. You have given 100%, and as Gordie says, knowing that, you can't lose. May your work bear fruit for a long, long time. Thank you, and thanks again to Michigan and Canada.
Thank you, Ambassador. As you all know, all of the components of the Gordie Howe International Bridge are being generously financed by the Government of Canada. With us today is the Minister of Infrastructure and Communities, the Honourable Sohi.
Well, thank you, Kirk. I am indeed honored and privileged to be standing and sharing this stage with the dignitaries and to mark this very important historic day for Detroit, for Windsor, but also for, I would say, for Canada and for the United States, marking the start of advanced construction in the United States for the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Kirk mentioned my colleagues who are here today. I would ask them if they could all stand up and be recognized. Marco, if you could stand up, please. And Peter, I see Brian at the back. I think Cheryl is the back as well, right? These are our members of parliament from Canada, belonging to different political parties. But on this project, we as Canadians are united because this project is about jobs. This project is about economic growth. This project is about building stronger middle class both in the United States and in Canada. And this is also about providing opportunities for those Canadian and American workers who work hard each and every day, struggling to be part of the middle class. And the growth that we will experience is going to help all workers. But I do want to express my deepest congratulations to Governor Snyder and his administration for all the hard work that they have done to accomplish this project. I can tell you that we are standing here today because of the hard work that Governor Snyder and his leadership on this project. We would not be where we are today. I think he deserves a big, big round of applause from all of us. And as well, everyone at the WDBA, Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, for their ongoing work on this major project. Prime Minister Trudeau appointed me Minister Responsible Infrastructure and Communities in November of 2015, and ever since then, I have been working very closely with the WDBA and the leadership team and everyone who has been part of this. And so please do know that we are deeply appreciative of the work that you have done to get us to where we are today, but particularly the leadership of Dwight Duncan. And you know, as a chair, he shared his remarks with you that he started working on this project in 1985. We are in 2018 today. Right? And it's damn too long that it takes so much time to build these projects. But I'm glad that we're moving forward on that. And I finally want to recognize Ambassador Kraft for her involvement, and thank you so much for being here today and for your support and your administrations. They have shown support for this project, as well as want to acknowledge your husband, Joe Kraft, here as well. So thank you so much for being here, sir. Today is indeed an occasion to celebrate, because what we are celebrating today is a symbol of friendship between the United States and Canada. It marks a significant step towards the construction of new international bridge, a project that will benefit Canadians and Americans. The past few weeks have been very productive for the Gordie Howe International Bridge project. Earlier this month, WDBA announced the Bridging North America. What a beautiful name, Bridging North America. Was chosen as the preferred proponent that will design, build, finance, operate, and maintain the new bridge. On that day, we also learned that the bridge will have a cable-stayed design. The Gordie Howe International Bridge will have the longest main span of any cable-stayed bridge in North America at approximately 1/2 mile. And now we are moving forward on the start of advanced construction in Michigan. Bridging North America's advanced construction includes essential groundwork for the bridge piers. And these activities represent the first work in the United States dedicated to bridge construction. The next important milestone will be financial close in the fall. And the new Gordie Howe International Bridge is well underway. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Trade Corridor is the busiest commercial land border crossing between Canada and the United States. It is a strategic and critical trade and transportation route between our two countries. This border crossing handles more than a quarter of the overall Canada-US trade per year, and approximately 31% of the trade carried by trucks. About 2.5 million trucks cross here every year. Not to mention the people who regularly travel back and forth from Michigan and southwestern Ontario for pleasure and for business. Both our great nations rely on this key trade corridor, and it is imperative that the crossing has the capacity to support the safe and efficient movement of people and goods through Windsor-Detroit. The new 6-lane Gordie Howe International Bridge will provide direct connectivity to Highway 401 in Windsor and I-75 in Detroit. It will have the state-of-the-art border processing facilities at both ports of the entry. As many of you have used this bridge, the existing bridge, you will know how delayed the traffic is on both sides because of the capacity issues there. It will have the capacity to handle the massive amount of traffic that comes through here. It will ensure people and goods move safely and smoothly between our two countries, supporting middle-class jobs on both sides of the border. Locally, it will mean opportunities for training and support for businesses for the people in Delray and Sandwich Town. This is why Gordie Howe International Bridge is one of Canada's top infrastructure priorities. Our new and beautiful international bridge will play a vital role in supporting the economies of both Canada and the United States. It will encourage economic investment, job creation, and support the very important relationship we have between our two countries. So friends, Government of Canada is 100% committed to this important project. We look forward to continue to work together in the same spirit of cooperation as we have so far to provide both Canadian and Americans with a new Gordie Howe International Bridge, a bridge that we can all be proud of. Thank you so much.
Minister Sohi, thank you. Our final speaker today has been referenced many, many times, happens to be my boss. a man that I think has been noted as tremendous leadership. And Governor, I couldn't say it more emphatically. Minister, you said it right on. Governor, you're the one that has provided the leadership for all of us to move forward, brought all of us together. You brought all of us to the table to talk about what makes common sense. So, our final speaker is Governor of the state of Michigan, Mr. Rick Snyder.
Well, thank you. Good morning. This is an awesome day, both from a personal but from a professional side. This is an awesome day for all the state of Michigan. And before I make some specific comments about this project, I do want to recognize a few people that have worked on this for a very, very long time. And actually, there are a couple of the great icons of Michigan politics. It's great. He's already been recognized once, but I do want to recognize him because he held more than one title. Not only was he former ambassador, but he was a former governor of Michigan, and he's been a great supporter of this project from the beginning, Jim Blanchard. We also have another retired person here, but he did a lot, and he is a true Detroiter that has done a lot to help our state in so many ways. That would be Senator Carl Levin. In terms of helping me get this project done, there are many people, but two I want to recognize specifically. One person, you haven't had the opportunity to see all his work on the bridge project, but he spent a lot of time and effort, particularly in the early days. That was my partner, the best lieutenant governor of the country, Brian Kelly. And then I do have to give a special shout out. We've had one individual that not only has worked on the bridge project, they live, eat, sleep the bridge project to the point where I've had to call his wife several times to say he can actually talk about other subjects. That would be Andy Doctorow. If you want to know how many commas on any page of any document, this is the man to ask. He's done it well, and thank you for your leadership. In terms of this bridge project, though, I think it's important to step back for a minute because there's been a lot of references to the history here, and I'll be brief. But if you look at it, this project has been talked about for decades, and there are good people that had their heart behind it for decades. And I have to acknowledge and say thank you to the country of Canada for actually having the common sense to continue to pursue this even when we did dumb things in Michigan. It's a true statement. Thank you for that great support to look at it. Because ultimately what it came down to in many respects is they've been fabulous partners. Minister Sohi has been tremendous. So many members of the Canadian government. I want to say thank you to all of Canada for your great partnership in getting this far with this project, and this project will get done. So thank you, Minister. We've had great federal partners. We heard about the Secretaries of Transportation, ambassadors, and Ambassador Kraft. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your support of this project. Because if you look at it, many people want to get this done. We had broad support from business. We had broad support from labor. Why didn't it happen sooner? It was a lack of common sense. I appreciate Kirk's comment. When somebody asked me the other day, why should we build this bridge? I said, it's simple. It's common sense. We had lost our way in Michigan. We let politics get ahead of common sense. And that's what stopped this bridge from moving forward for far too long. And I'm proud to say we reinvented ourselves. We had to step back and get our act together and say we need to let common sense drive things, not politics. And we were incredibly fortunate. Again, I have to give another thank you to Canada for this, is given our economic times and circumstances, they're putting up the resources to build this bridge. That's something that every Michigander should thank every Canadian of. This is a partnership between our country and our state. We're joint partners in this, but they're providing the resources to build this bridge. And let's recognize that and say thank you. Because I remember it was January 2011. I'd been governor less than 30 days doing my first State of the State address. And I said, we're going to build this bridge. And everybody goes, what did he say? And it was really a reflection of common sense needing to take priority again. And since that time, though, it's been all about partnership. I appreciate the great accolades to me and to Michigan. But this is all about teamwork, folks. Everyone from the International Authority, the members there, the WDBA has done great work. The amount of hours is absolutely incredible. Our partners in the city of Detroit, helping do great agreements to help do great things for Del Rey, for the city of Detroit, to help employ more Detroiters has been wonderful. The city of Windsor has been a great partner through this process. The province of Ontario, we've all worked together in terms of collaboration, cooperation to make this happen. And that's something that we should be proud of. So as you sit out in this crowd, look around to the people around you. Most likely there's someone in that group that may have spent days, weeks, months, or years already working on this project. Or they're excited to work on this project for the next number of years. And we should be proud of that. So I say thank you to each one of you. Give yourself a round of applause for all the great work you've all done collectively. Now, the common sense part. Why build this bridge? It's common sense. This is really simple, folks. There are 3 simple common sense reasons to do this. First of all, it's about more and better jobs. This is an economic engine, both long-term and short-term. In the short term, we're going to have great construction people from both the U.S. side, the Canadian side, doing great hard work. These are wonderful people running the wonderful pieces of equipment out there and other things, the carpenters and millwrights. We should be proud of the work they're going to do. In the long term, we're going to create more trade between our countries, more opportunities for growth, more good business that will sell across the globe. These are all wonderful things to take place. So this is about jobs. The second thing, it's about economic security. Just think about the devastating consequences if we didn't have the crossing we had today, if something went wrong, if it had to close. Shouldn't we have opportunities and options for our own economic security? It'd be economically devastating to all of us. That's one of the reasons you're seeing me advocate so much now for another lock at the Soo. Relying on one is not a good answer when you're talking about the livelihood of millions of people and the opportunity there. So this is in our best interest for both countries to work so closely together to make this happen. And the last part is, this is more than jobs, this is more than security. This is about friendship. This is about neighbors. This is about being one together and finding ways to grow together. One of the exciting things as they go through this, they talk about this being a 125-year span. That's how we should look at our relationship. We're suffering some ups and downs now in that relationship. But the point is, have you heard anyone talk about not doing this bridge? Not to say we're committing for 125 years of friendship and partnership for generations to come. That's a message that shouldn't be lost on anyone, because it's important. During my tenure as governor, I've seen it flourish and I've appreciated that. Canada truly is a partner from Windsor to Ontario to the entire country. One of the things we too often forget, that one of the great moments of enjoyment I find as governor of Michigan is when they do the Detroit fireworks. And actually it's the Freedom Festival between both countries. I just happen to be on this side. The mayor hasn't invited me to his side yet, but when I'm done being governor, I might get an invite. But one of the moments that people talk about, we had the best fireworks ever this year, that people should never forget, that strikes me in the heart each and every year, is the fireworks start with hundreds of thousands of people on both sides of the border, just enjoying life, recognizing our freedom. And then it begins by having 2 flags pulled by helicopters to 2 national anthems coming down the Detroit River. That's a touching moment, folks. That's the moment that this bridge represents. When it's built, it won't be one day of the year. It will be for generations, for over a century, being an icon of Canada, the U.S., Ontario and Michigan, Windsor and Detroit, being bonded together to make each other better. So let's build this bridge. Thank you so much.
So this concludes our formal part of today's proceedings, but there's more to come, so get your cameras ready. There's going to be a photo opportunity right outside the tent, right back here. I'd ask that the media be allowed first, so if all of us could kind of sit down and let the media get out there and get situated. Please go out this door to your right, and then go ahead and get set up. We'll allow them to get set up, and then we'll let the speakers and some other dignitaries that are going to do the groundbreaking, let them get out, and then everybody, let's fill in around them. This is really just a tremendous day. I would like to thank all of our speakers for your passion and your time for being here. It's really, really a monumental day for something that will be a monument for generations to come. So let's give a few minutes. Yeah.
I would ask everybody who's on the right side, which is my right side, to go out these doors here. You'll be escorted out. Everyone on the left side, my left side, if you can just wait for a minute and you'll be escorted out there. I also would remind everyone in the room that we have a video booth in the back. Please take an opportunity at the end of today. You too will be part of history and give your thoughts on the Gordie Howe International Bridge.